Ready Check Radio.
Stand by as we get ready to serve up all your news this week in the world of gaming. Welcome to Gaming Gumbo. Good evening, Internet. It is Saturday. It is 7 p.m. Eastern. That means right here on Ready Check Radio, it's time for Gaming Gumbo, Episode 2. Hope you're enjoying the show. It was very nice to do our little console review last week. That was fun. Now, this week, we've got some more stuff to go through, and we'll talk about the consoles a little bit now that we're a week into, or 2 weeks in some cases, almost 2 weeks in. To launch. But then we've got a lot of other gaming news. This is your weekly gaming wrap-up podcast, so that makes a lot of sense to do. If you're watching or listening on Spotify, head on over sometime to readycheckradio.com, RAIDEO. You can see the links right there on Spotify. Make sure you're following Twitter, Facebook, the website, Twitch, all that good stuff. And hopefully you can make it live like the rest of chat is here. Welcome, chat. Hope you enjoy the show today. We got a lot to talk about, so let's get right down to it with the host, Mr. Jason Winter. How are you, sir?
You know, I actually had a gumbo. So could we maybe rename the show to Gaming Pizza or something?
How about you just have a gumbo? And
No,
that seems far easier than a full asset redo.
No, I think we could totally just redo all the assets. We've got an artist somewhere, don't we?
I think you just make a gumbo. I mean, we do have an artist also on the line. Yad, how are you?
I'm doing all right today. Lots of fun this week, I guess. Working on stuff.
You working on the gaming pizza assets?
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do now.
Totally, yeah. Gotta rebrand the entire thing. All new text, all new graphics, that type of thing. Because,
welcome to Gaming Pizza.
Mike really wants to pay for that.
It's easier for me. I don't understand what the problem is.
Welcome to Gaming Pizza, the podcast that's a lot like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's about games, so it's all right.
You can watch it in the morning, too, when we're cold.
All right. Now, I want to kick off real quick here with a small one. This is kind of like an ancillary topic, but we did mention it on last week's show, but since that was our premiere show, the console launches and everything, we really didn't have the time to cover it. And I know, I dabble in this franchise. I know, Yad, you're nuts about this franchise, and Jason, we'll get your opinions on it in just a minute. So I did want to come back to something that we had talked about on last week's show briefly, and that's the Mass Effect announcements that came with N7 Day. Two big announcements out of that were obviously that there's a new Mass Effect title in the works, and the Mass Effect Legendary Edition remaster, hoobity boobity, all the bells and whistles and new lights and shading and everything. So I did want to come back to that. I don't feel like it got fair time given what we were talking about yesterday. And Yad, I know you wanted to express some thoughts on not only the new game but also the remaster as well. So let's talk about it a little bit. I'll give you first dibs at it.
Right. I have played it a lot. The original 3. Went through Andromeda once.
You actually made your way all the way through
Andromeda.
Andromeda.
All the way through. And I was waiting for the DLC. I wanted to see that other arc. I wanted to explore it. I heard that it was released as a book from a friend who's an even bigger Mass Effect fan than I am, because I started out with Mass Effect 2, and then 3 came out, worked my way back to 1, played the entire thing 4 or 5 times. But she actually picked up the book and read it and was like, this would have been an amazing, DLC if they actually did it. And I feel kind of cheated that they didn't do the DLC, because it would have completed the story. And the gameplay of Andromeda wasn't bad. It was a lot of fun. Of course, there were some shading issues and stuff like that. It felt like when it came out, the guy who released it forgot to hit the final render button. So it was using the the pre-launch renders in the game.
It was like when we were testing our screens before the cast.
Right, exactly. And once they did the patch update, wow, look, there's the final renders. It looks great.
I don't.
So yeah, there were some issues.
Okay, so where do I want to go with this? Jason, let's get you first. I don't want to taint anything here. So your experience.
Oh, I never taint anything. No
your
problem.
experience with the Mass Effect franchise and all that stuff. Your personal experience first.
Yeah, I've played all 3 of them. Friend that, and then got 2 and 3 when they came out. A little later, I actually got them on sale because of the really bad reviews revolving around 3. I didn't get that until after, like, the 3. Into it as some people, but I really did enjoy them and really did play through a lot of them. So, if any franchise really should have had an all-in-one package at some point, it's this, because you continue your story through all 3 with your same shepherd. So.
Right.
There's no other game that this would otherwise make sense more.
I loved this game. I played Mass Effect 1. It was lent to me by a friend back on the 360. And they were, you're really into RPGs, and it wasn't on my radar. Like, I'm into sci-fi and I'm into RPGs and stuff, but Mass Effect was like a little lower on the radar when it originally came out, at least on my personal radar. And they were the friend, hey, you got to check this out, and I did, and I loved it. And then Mass Effect 2 came out, and I dropped Mass Effect 2 so fast. Like, it was I was probably 10 to 15 hours into it before I was like, yeah, I'm done. And I think a lot of that wasn't the story. Like, the story is obviously really, really good until a certain point in 3. But in 1 and 2, the story I always thought was really, really well done. What dropped it for me was in 2, they kind of scaled back like the actual exploration aspect of the game to a great deal. And although I can see why, like, because let's face it, if you explore the universe, 99.99% of exploring the universe is going to be finding fucking nothing. In real life. In real life, that's what it would be. But I liked hitting these planets and walking around and just like getting lost for 2 hours really doing nothing. And I understand that that's not everybody's cup of tea, and so they made it a little more focused into, but that they kind of lost me in that transition. I never played 3. I just went back and like watched how the story resolved on YouTube videos and things like that. And then Andromeda, I just sat and laughed at. So I'm like that mid-range. I went halfway with you on Mass Effect and then kind of fell out about it. But I got to say, in a remaster, I probably will go back into this Legendary Edition because of the reasons you just said, Jason. Like, if a game ever needed an all-in-one, put it all together, pretty it up, and let's redo some of our mistakes along the way, this trilogy is it. And some of the lighting and the new art for it, Yod, from an artist perspective, I think just looks incredible.
Oh yeah. And that was one of the main things. I actually have 2 copies of the original trilogy. One of them is on the Xbox 360, and the other one is on PC. And the reason I got the PC one is because I didn't want to replay 1 on the 360 anymore because of the freaking elevator scene. It was brilliant what they did. I mean, it's brilliant that they added that in so that the load screen, you had something to read and stare at and stuff like that. But it just took forever. So, loading it onto a PC, it speeds that up. And on PC, you can hack in high detail textures and more hairstyles for your shepherd and all that stuff. So, I had to do it.
Some of the lighting that I've just been really impressed with. And I know that that's, a huge deal with particularly the new consoles and ray tracing and different lighting aspects and things like that. And I think they're really going to be taking advantage of. Jason, I assume we get the redone ending of 3. In this set, I would hope.
I don't understand the hate for the original ending. I understood the original ending. It's I mean, okay, so it's been out for years now. So I mean, spoilers aren't really a thing at this point, right? We both agree on that? Or we all 3 of us agree on that? Yeah,
sure.
Okay. Right. So it's an intergalactic war. You got a massive death on all fronts. You're not going to have all the options that you want to finish it. So I don't get why, it's you have to finish the war. You have to end it.
Oh, I finished the war. My shepherd, that shepherd was renegade, and she finished the damn war. Believe
See?
me.
See?
No, but that was with the new ending, and yeah, let's just say that.
I played both. Okay, I played the original release because I got it on original release, and then I played the updated ending. The updated ending gave you a third choice and a few more cutscenes because people didn't understand that the Normandy left. I mean, it was nice to have those cutscenes, but for me, it wasn't necessary.
I don't think it was too much. People didn't understand. It's just people hated it. Just
See,
people hated
I
it. It didn't
once
feel
again,
like I don't. It didn't feel like a payoff. Like I'm okay with a payoff that isn't all sunshine and roses, right? I'm okay with not necessarily a happy Disney fairy tale ending.
Yeah.
And I think a lot
Yeah,
of people were too. It just didn't feel paid off. Like it just felt like, oh wow.
I mean,
okay,
what would
credits? So.
what would the two of you's preferred endings
I'm not
have
saying
been?
that they
Like,
should have
what kind of
redone it.
option?
I don't think they should have redone it. I don't have to enjoy and like the ending of something to appreciate the good in all of it. And just because there are plenty of movies I own that I hate the ending of.
Okay.
I'm willing to go into entertainment knowing I might not like every aspect of it. I was not writing BioWare letters on why they need to redo it.
Yeah,
I don't care. Jason,
As
you're
long as
you're very tight-lipped. Like you have something you want to say here.
Actually, I'm not that familiar with what the original ending was, so I've never really gone into it that
Um,
much. I stayed away from it because I didn't want to get spoiled when I eventually played the full game. So
Basically, nothing happens.
okay,
oh no! Basically, in the original ending, you get choice A and choice B. You get red and blue. You don't get the green ending.
okay,
That was the major difference. And there wasn't the cutscene where the Normandy crashes on a planet and your crew pops out.
okay. Yeah, I never did the green ending. I've still never seen
Yeah,
it. I was just red, but yeah.
I watched it, but I never did it.
All that really mattered to me for my shepherd was that the crow didn't get beat down. That's pretty much all I cared about. I screwed up. I kept Mortis alive, just so you know. That's how much I screwed
Oh
over the
my
crow.
god!
I wasn't even trying to. I had no idea, but it worked
Jeez.
out.
Did you make it through
But
until
yeah.
dawn with everybody alive?
I've never played that.
Really? Oh, okay. Separate topic.
Yeah. So new game.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So, like, where do we think the new game is going? Because we don't really have a lot on this one yet. We do
I've
have
been
some
trying
art
not to-
that I sent.
Yeah,
I
I've been
sent
trying
Yard
not
some art,
to
and I was like,
keep-
"Look at this," and Yard
Right.
was like, "That looks like a crashed relay."
Yeah, it looks like it's a crash mass relay of some kind, which makes me think that you're back in the Sol system. Like they're abandoning Andromeda, which is a shame because there was potential there. There is potential in Andromeda. A bit. But it's there. But I mean, destroyed mass relays kind of mean that it happens after the third game because, like, at the end, all the mass relays blow up.
And yes, that
So-
cycle through the cameras was on purpose, chat. When Yad said there was hope in Andromeda, and I cut to my blank staring face and Jason's blank staring face.
I haven't played Andromeda, so I actually
Just
don't
like-
know how terrible that was. But
I mean, the story was decent. It wasn't as good as the original Mass Effect, mostly because the original Mass Effect was there. If you're just playing Andromeda as Andromeda without any overhang or expectations of Shepard, you should be fine.
Yeah, and the fact that if there had never been any of the other Mass Effects, Andromeda wouldn't have sold at all. So
There is that too. They would have been starting at square one if they just called it Andromeda and didn't link it to the other games. But I mean, the gameplay was good. I think it was a good evolution of 3's gameplay, which now you get to jetpack jump and dodge and stuff, which is a good addition because you couldn't really jump.
I don't know. So you thinking a Mass Effect 4 or
I'm thinking
an
Mass
Andromeda
Effect 4.
2 or side story after the events of Mass Effect 1, 2, 3? Are we Shepard? Are we not?
see, the
I mean,
problem is that I think the reason they did Andromeda was because it was going to be set somewhere else.
Mhm.
So no
Right.
matter what choices you made in the original games, it wouldn't have mattered to that. But now if they're doing something set after Mass Effect 3 in the Sol system, how does that figure in with whatever? Do they have this a generic sort of this is the storyline that happened? You have to follow it.
Well,
or...
and
I
typically
mean-
with multiple ending type things like that, it is one of them is considered canon.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
you're not going to continue with, hey, here's Jason's choices, let's let him roll into the next one. It's Jason. Hey, your choices that you've made previously don't matter. This is a separate experience.
But isn't that exactly what got them in trouble with the?
No,
with
it
three,
is.
was
It
having the
absolutely
choice-
is.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. But I mean, unless you intend to actually make it Mass Effect 4 and roll your Shepard along, you kind of have to make that decision at some point. Or
still-
to
that
your
means it's gonna
point,
still disappoint.
let's jump to a different universe. Let's jump to a different set of characters where those choices don't matter, and they're not even referenced, so we don't have to worry about it. Which I could certainly see
obviously-
being enticing to BioWare at this point.
Which they've tried. I mean,
Yeah,
that's Andromeda.
that's
That's totally
Andromeda.
Andromeda. And they've obviously gotten to the point where they think that's not gonna work with the fans because they didn't complete the DLCs. So it's got to be back in the Sol system. I guess it would depend on if they have determined whether they want to bring Shepard back again or not. Not they did, they did it already once with 2, where they killed him or her and brought him back. So that's not beyond their capabilities of running that line. Or they just continue in the Sol system with the legacy of Shepard hanging over your head.
Yeah, I mean, because it is tough to bring Shepard back, right? There's only one. There's only one ending that Shepard doesn't die in.
Doesn't die completely, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, the rest is,
Yeah.
But there's one.
You're
that-
either assimilated or.
but to our point,
you're-
then that has to become.
Yeah.
If you intend to go with Shepard, then that kind of has to become the canon ending because
Mhm.
you want the character. I don't know. We don't know a lot about this. It's gonna be a while before we get this new one. Certainly, I'll be watching it, and it sounds like Jason. I was actually surprised that you were into Mass Effect.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not gonna get. I'm probably. I don't know if I'm gonna get the remaster thing or whatever. But my friend of mine did, and he said actually, but I'll take Garrus watching. He said he said that he believes there's rumors there are going to be 10 hours of gameplay between the trilogy that was almost done, so additional stuff. He says, I'll take Garrus watching my back and trying to romance Liara in 4K. That's worth $60.
That's a great quote.
Always Liara.
Yeah, exactly.
Always Liara. Yep. Blue tentacle chick. That's
Okay,
my-
now let's go
Goddamn.
back to our console discussion. Now that I feel like we gave it some justice there, let's go back
All
to
right.
our console discussion. We're not going to really talk about more thoughts on the consoles. We're still messing with them. I've been sharing a lot of my thoughts on streams as we bounce back and forth from the Xbox to the PS5, and I'm almost top 150 in the world in Astro Play Lab
Yeah,
speed
we
runs.
know.
I
We
know.
know.
Yeah,
Hey.
160.
Zista was in my chat last night. I mentioned that to
Don't
him.
be
He's like,
jealous.
Yeah, Mike, go,
Don't be
go.
jealous, Jason. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. You don't bring that
Well,
kind of
you know what
jealousness to the show.
You know what though? You've never beaten my time.
I don't even know what your time is.
I don't have a time.
It's
so you can't-
0.
That's a heck of a time.
But let's talk about some other aspects of the new consoles, and that is, of course, the big news as far as availability, right? They just aren't available. And this isn't new. I mean, this has been happening since console launches way back when, right? I remember working for a video game store and then Best Buy when the PlayStation 2 / original Xbox launch periods were going on. And then PlayStation 3 and So none of this is new shortages. But if you kind of look at the numbers, particularly some of the numbers coming out of Japan as they relate to the PlayStation 5 sales, these numbers look lower than usual, let's say. Now, Sony had gone into this whole launch cycle talking about they were prepping to have, 10 million and then 12 million and then 14 million units and ready to go and all this. And then there were rumors of chip shortages, which Sony came out and said, no, that's not true. But stories kept persisting that production was going to be cut. And as a consumer, Jason, you always wonder, how much of this is actually a shortage and how much of this is a faux marketing, let's keep the supply low and just trickle it in. That way there's always hype and people trying to run out and grab these things, like an artificial shortage. Well, I've always, as someone in retail, kind of believed it's usually a little column A and column B. I think it's more column A this time around, though, than normal, because there just seems to be a lot going on, particularly on Sony's side, but also on Microsoft's side with how hard these consoles are for people to get right now.
Especially for something like a console, I definitely lean more towards it being a real shortage because A, you want those out so people are going to be buying the games as well and get into all that and get all the money from that. And B, it is November, December, so they know holiday season is when they really want stuff to be sold. So they definitely want to get that stuff out there right now. And even more so, maybe even also the fact that it's 2020 and the way things have been going for everything everywhere. However, they want to get that good Q4, to maybe offset what's been going on in the other 3 quarters in terms of sales of everything. So
yeah,
I think it is much more leaning towards a real shortage than any sort of artificial thing.
Yeah, and that's on this particular launch, not comparing it to past launches yet. We're about to do that, but I would tend to agree. And Yad, a big part of that is seeing what's happening in Japan with the PlayStation 5.
Right.
And so reporting all over the place. So I'm going to be quoting some stuff from TechSpot. Famitsu is quoted in this piece. I mean, so it's all over the place. But so in these stories, Sony's initial production estimates for the PS5 had the company shipping at least 10 million units during the holiday rush. Reports came out in September that indicated production had been cut by around 4 million units, sparking rumors of shortage. Sony insisted it was on track, and those rumors were unfounded, something I've already told you. But if that's the case, why has Japan only sold 118,000 units and will sell no more until next year? Famitsu notes that Japanese retail outlets have only moved 118,000 PlayStation 5 units in the first 4 days from launch. The only Japanese launch worse than the PS5 was the PS3, which managed less than 100,000 units at launch. For reference, Sony sold over 1 million PlayStation 4 consoles within 24 hours in the U.S., and the PS2 sold more than 500,000 units on day one. Furthermore, retailers in the console's home country are reporting they're not getting any fresh allotments until next year. Now, that is Sony's home country, where its adoption, as far as comparing it to other consoles, isn't even close. The PlayStation should be massively outselling, and it is, but massively outselling competition in Japan, and you can't get it there, period.
So I do have to wonder, because of the way the world is at this point in time, and that whole thing that's running around so that we have to stay inside the house still.
Yeah, it's definitely not demand holding this back.
Right. But where are the parts for the PlayStation and the Xbox being manufactured? Because like with Apple products and stuff like that, a lot of their stuff is manufactured in China. So if the production facilities have to shut down because of the whole thing, going on and about, I hear that if we say that word, we get demonetized in certain areas. So I'm not gonna go in there. But because of how the world is right now, could it be just that the parts aren't available, or are they actually holding items back to sell elsewhere?
Well, this article does kind of point in the latter there a little bit, that Sony maybe isn't quite as worried about the Japanese market because of the iron grip, for lack of a better term, that they have on it when it comes to consoles. And so those extra units are being moved into Europe and into North America to establish leads and footholds there, with the idea of we're pretty sure we're always going to have a lead in Japan. And so but if you're a Japanese gamer at that point, you got to really feel like, what the hell, Jason?
Yeah.
My. So on the flip side, on the other side of the coin, we've got the Xbox, the Microsoft Xbox, and actually CFO Tim Stewart did kind of speak out loud in public about the availability of this. And I'm sure it's not news that anybody looking for either of these consoles, particularly the Xbox, since that's what Tim Stewart is talking about specifically. I don't think it's news anybody's going to like on that front. You wish you had supply to meet the huge demand, Stewart said. I think what we've seen over the last generation and then heading into now is, and part of this demand profile is, frankly, gaming is just exploding. You'll be outside of a holiday window, and talking about when Microsoft expects to have a better supply versus demand ratio. We'll have supply cranking over the next, 4, 5, 6 months, and that's when I expect to see really the demand profile start to be met, which will be really, really great. Okay, so that's March into May.
Wow.
Which, if things go reasonably well, if things go like we all kind of hope they will, that's when everybody's going to go outside.
Yeah. You got a point
That
there.
is not what I want to be trying to sell a new console.
Yeah, I'm hoping I'll be able to go to a convention again in May.
Just FYI too, I just noticed another article that said it compared that 118,000 for the PS5 in Japan in 4 days versus
like
6 days, 21,000 for the Xbox.
I saw the number was 20,000. That's still why I think Microsoft's going to try to make a move on a Japanese gaming company. I don't know if it's going to be Sega.
You think?
But I think we're going to see a move made on a Japanese company, pick them up like they did Bethesda. Which is a whole nother thing, we've never really talked about here, by the way, that whole Bethesda buyout and some comments recently of, Microsoft, hey, if we don't want to make it exclusive, we at least want ours to be the better version of these games. And it's like, oof.
The better version?
Yeah.
But they say that all the time. I don't know if it was PlayStation or Xbox. One of them said about some games, well, we think our console is the best place to play this game or whatever it was.
No, he was talking about doing what Sony did with Square Enix and Marvel Avengers, where they got Spider-Man. So by de facto reasoning, the PC and the Xbox versions were inferior because they were always going to have one less character available. Yeah, they want the exclusive content.
It's a good thing that we've got the more superior version of Marvel's Avengers. Then.
Yeah, I mean, it's only going to be 9 years until Elder Scrolls 6 is out anyway, so we'll worry about it then.
Wow.
Just worry about it then.
But will you be able to play it on Alexa by that time?
Oh, no. Alexa will be long dead. It'll just be walking AIs in our house.
Not if my shepherd has anything to say about it.
Jason, what are you doing? Shut up. I'm trying to romance my AI.
No. I did not romance the AI. So the ending was, okay.
So you let Joker lose his girlfriend?
Oh. By the way, I should point out this is such a jerk move, and I also should point out that I was part of one of these jerk moves many years ago. So my brother was trying to get a hold of a PlayStation 5, right? And he was a little bit late to the party about it, and so he just said, can you keep me posted on if I happen to see anything go up and stuff like that. So long story short, I did hit him up. We got one. He wanted it for a Christmas gift, and he had to buy the GameStop bundle because now, when GameStop initially launched them, they had the digital one, they had the disc one, then they had 2 or 3 different bundles that were $650 and $850 that had games and headsets and extra controllers and all kinds of shit forcefully tacked on to the just leeching off of this fucking console. So he ended up buying one of those. $850. What I think sucked about it was GameStop they sent out an email blast saying, hey, we're going to be putting some consoles up soon, so get your carts ready. Then they did go up and they tweeted out that they were live, but the caveat was they only pushed them into the bundles. So all their limited stock went right to those $650 and $850 bundles. They didn't put any units up by themselves in that particular wave. And they've been doing that periodically, which is just such horseshit. Such horseshit. I understand dollar-wise, if that bundle works for you, you are getting a decent deal. I'm not complaining at the price point. I'm complaining at that bundle being targeted at a very specific type of gamer that needs a lot of those things. Great. More power to you. But that's 1 out of every 700 people that is trying to get this console right now. And putting somebody in a position feeling like the scalpers are another story, but this is like yeah. Anyway, I also should say that I once worked for a little mom and pop video game chain back when the PS2 first launched, that their business practices were less than what I liked. It's probably why I didn't work there very long. And I might have gotten into like fights with the owner over it and stuff, because he would not sell the PS2 singly. He bundled them all together too. So I hate that practice. That just, ugh. The scalpers are bad enough, but then having companies just be like, you know what? We're never going to move all these fucking PlayStation 5 headsets. Let's start bundling this shit together and just force people with a $900 ticket item out the door. I get it.
I've worked for CCG companies that did the same thing with old products.
Ugh. All right. Anyway.
I mean, the option for it would be nice for those people that want it.
Yeah, it just feels especially slimy to me, though, when you get a very limited quantity to go ahead and sell, and then you force that to be the sales mechanism. Like, there isn't even an option for them.
Right. Yeah, there's no opt-out. But, I mean, I can see the headset, whether it's high grade or not.
It's all right. It's not the Sony one. It's not the PS5 one. It's a different headset.
See, I would think they would bundle it with the PS5, gold or platinum, whatever they're calling it now.
No, it's like a second controller, Miles Morales, Demon Souls, some other headset. It's not a crap headset, but it's not like a huge expensive headset. A year of PSN, it's all kinds of stuff in there.
In the previous generation consoles, I can see bundling a game or two with it because you need that to start off to play.
Right, and GameStop isn't making dick, Jason, on the console.
Right.
Actually, if the brand new games, they're not making anything on the brand new games either. So that's a business I have no idea how it's open anymore.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, so availability continues to suck. Let us know if you got one in the comments below, and if you have any horror stories about trying to get one. The Game Awards 2020 nominees are out. They are available. We talked a little bit about Final Fantasy VII Remake on the Relic Grind on Thursday. So we won't belabor that point here, but the nominees are out, and we're certainly not going to go through all of these, gentlemen, but I do think we should hit these and make a couple predictions, sure to go wrong. Our stenographer, Jason Winter, of course, will record.
Right.
We'll record our predictions so that we can revisit them on a future episode. Speaking of future episodes, no shows next week on Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday. Thanksgiving week and giving all 3 sets of hosts off. There will still be streamers streaming for the most part. 1 or 2 will be taking their stream off, but follow us, twitch.tv/ReadyCheckRadio, so you can get the notifications on who's streaming and when. And in place of the shows, we may do little odds and ends specials. Like Tuesday, Zista and I may jump into World of Warcraft together on a dual stream, stuff like that, instead of Snowbound. So stay tuned.
I'm taking my Tuesday stream.
No. We would be doing the 7 to 8 spot. Where Snowbound would normally air.
Right, okay.
Getting a little possessive there, Jason.
Right?
Yeah, come on. You already took it from me once.
Yeah,
Jeez.
he didn't request off. All right, so I guess we'll start with Game of the Year. Our nominees, gentlemen, we've got Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing New Horizons, The Last of Us Part 2. First off, I have played 5 out of 6 of these. Where do you guys score? Where do you guys score on how many you've played? Actually played?
1. And you know what it is.
Final Fantasy Remake.
Yeah.
I played Doom. That's about it.
I've watched people play...
The only one I haven't played is Last of Us 2.
3 of them.
I've watched people play the other ones, especially the wife. She plays Animal Crossing.
Yeah, the only one I have never touched was Last of Us Part 2. And even Animal Crossing is very, very limited because it's vicariously, playing with my my two sons. So, but the other four, like I've played pretty extensively. All right, Yad, we'll start with you then. Who takes Game of the Year?
I want to say Ghosts.
You think Ghost of Tsushima does?
Yeah,
it?
everything that I've seen of it, there's huge support. It seems like a massively awesome game. They just introduced multiplayer mode, I think.
Mhm.
Was it?
And free.
And yeah, it's free. Even the multiplayer mode is if you own the game, and you know people are still playing it, and the story, from what I've seen of it, is amazing, and so is the art. So
Jason?
It's tough because like I said, I haven't played a lot of these, haven't really watched a whole lot of them so much. But just based on the fact that I hear it got pretty good acclaim and it's got so many other categories nominated, so many other places down below. I'm going to go with Last of Us.
Oh, going Last of Us
That's
Part
my last
2.
one. I'm going to be horribly wrong. I know, but
there's a part of me that really wants 7 Remake to take this category. It's nominated for 6, and I honestly think that it's probably going to take at least 4, probably 5 of its 6. But the one that I'm worried the most about it taking is this category. That's why I don't put it at 6 of 6. I just don't think, for as tremendous as the game is, I just don't think it's going to edge out some of these titles. I do lean, Yad, with you. Ghost of Tsushima. I streamed a lot of that. It was very, very good. I think
it's original.
It is. I think it's going to be hard to go against Animal Crossing, though. I really do. Hades is a tremendous game. And I would absolutely give it a personal Game of the Year award, but I don't know if it's hit enough of a market penetration to win this one either. I'm actually going to take Animal Crossing. I'll take Animal Crossing, Jason.
Okay.
All right.
I just think the market penetration on that, the visibility, I would not be surprised if Ghost took it or The Last of Us took it and I lost this category. So I wouldn't be shocked. I'd like to see Hades or 7 win. I really don't. I think Doom is outmatched in this category.
I think it is. I think Doom is there because of nostalgia.
So
it's Final Fantasy VII Remake then.
True.
Yes and no. I mean, Doom is doing what Doom does and has done. You get on Doom, you blow shit up.
Yeah.
All right. We'll do best game direction next. 7 Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and Last of Us Part 2, all in this category. But they get a new contender in Half-Life Alyx for best game direction. Jason, we'll go with you first.
So what would that require? That would require it to be a well planned out and well formulated
awarded
game, I
for
guess.
Outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design.
In that case, I think I will go with Ghost of Tsushima here because it did have a very nice layout and very good story and so forth. So yeah, that's going to be my pick.
I think that's fair. I'm going to go with Half-Life Alyx on this one because I think they're going to try to find a way to give Half-Life Alyx an award. And it was tremendous. So I'm surprised. I know Zach Sharps, a friend of ours on MMOBomb.com, who, I got to talk to about being on this show sometime. I keep forgetting about that. I know he felt that it was, slighted, and others have felt that it was slighted for Game of the Year. I think being VR only hurts it in that category big time. I would like to see Half-Life Alyx take that best game direction because there were so many new things that it did. So I'll go Half-Life Alyx on this one. Yad?
I can see both of you guys' picks being, really good and taking it. And since, you guys took those 2 games, I would have probably said Ghosts again, but
that's fine. You can say Ghosts.
No. I'm gonna go Final Fantasy because they did do some changes from the original. It's a completely new play style, it's new direction. It's almost a new game.
Yep.
Almost.
Hey, I told you my heart on Final Fantasy VII legitimately thinks they can take 5 of 6. And this would have to be one of them if the biggest one that I think its stumbling block is Game of the Year.
So I'm going to go with Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Narrative. Let's go down to the story. For outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game, 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and Last of Us Part 2. I'll go first on this one. I think Final Fantasy Remake is going to take this one. I think its hardest competition is probably Last of Us Part 2 for narrative. That's not to slight Ghost of Tsushima or Hades in the narrative, but in my experience, Ghost of Tsushima did narratively get a bit repetitive as it wore on. Hades kind of had that same thing. I love both of their stories, so I'm going to give this one to Remake, 7 Remake. Jason?
I am kind of torn, similar between Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima, but I think I'm going to go with Last of Us because people love a nice dark story, so that's what I'll go with.
Yacht?
And I'm going to go with Ghosts.
Very nice, very nice. We're going to do 2 more here. 2 more. There's plenty more, so head on over to the GameAwards.com/nominees if you want to see the rest of the categories. But we're going to do 2 more here. Best Score and Music, Doom Eternal, 7 Remake, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, or The Last of Us Part 2. Yod, you're first this time.
I'm going to go with Final Fantasy.
Kind of a no-brainer, huh? Gonna go for the no-brainer move.
That nostalgia heartstring is gonna win it for them.
Mr. Winter.
I'm also going to pick Final Fantasy VII, at the very least because it's the only one whose music I've actually heard, and because it does have that nostalgia string. And I remember when I was like before it came out, I was like, maybe I'll get it. I don't know, maybe I'll be interested in it, whatever. Then they did a video of some of the music, and I was like, oh yeah, it feels good.
Oh, you hear it.
That. Pump that right in there, right in.
Brings you right back to the original, doesn't it?
I'm going to go Final Fantasy VII Remake as well. All right, last category that we're going to do on the show here. Have I picked an odd number of categories, Jason?
This will be the 5th, yes.
Okay, I was trying to make sure I picked an odd so that we could at least try to rule out a tie. It's still possible, but it's less possible. I wanted to pick this one because Jason and I do MMOBomb.com where we cover free-to-play games. A lot of those are games as a service. So we're going to pick Best Ongoing. And this is awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Your nominees here are Apex Legends from Respawn and EA. You know I ain't fucking picking that. With the issues I've had I still cannot play my PlayStation 4 or 5 EA Sports games on my actual account. Anyway.
How often do you tweet at them?
I have no idea. I haven't done it in a few days. I probably got to do that tonight. Destiny 2, which just released Beyond Light. Call of Duty Warzone. Fortnite. Or No Man's Sky. Yod, you're up first. Or no, Jason, you're up first. You're up first. Sorry.
Okay, I'm up first. All right. Well, first of all, interesting to note that 4 of these 5 are free-to-play games. So there's stuff we know and we cover, and therefore I'm picking the one that isn't. I'm going with No Man's Sky.
Any particular reason or just because it's not the free-to-play one?
Well, no, because that's something we always hear about. We hear about how much it's improving, how much they're doing more stuff, and how better it is. So that's what I'm going to go with, because I think it has that narrative, and it's got that. It's kind of crappy that it was so bad when it started, and now it just wins all these. It wins the getting better awards. It's like being comeback player of the year in sports. The only reason you win comeback player of the year is because you had some devastating injury like last year,
right?
Or something, so. Or you were really horrible or whatever. So,
chat, you're right. This is a tough category to pick. Where do I want to go with this? It's hard to argue with No Man's Sky. The improvements that game has made over the last year are just tremendous. But then, you're going against Fortnite and Warzone and Apex Legends and Destiny. I think Destiny is probably the underdog in this category, in my opinion.
I came close to picking Destiny, but I think the recent vaulting stuff is going to, I don't know, that pisses me off to some degree.
Yeah,
so.
I think out of these 5, if I'm just looking, not out of personal, because Destiny would be like second on this list for me personally, but looking at it as if I had to pick a winner with like no personal bias, I think Destiny is probably in 5th out of 5 here. Apex Legends is making a shit ton of money, man.
Gee, Fortnite is too, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah, and I heard that Warzone thing ain't doing so bad.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Fortnite win. Oh God.
Oh God.
Nobody does.
Although that's like the only thing they're nominated for. So
Yeah, I really don't want to see Call of Duty Warzone win either, or Apex Legends. I want to pick No Man's Sky, but I think I gotta go. I'm gonna go Apex Legends. I don't want to pick that, but I think there's too many people that would, if they were voting for this, would go, no, Call of Duty, Fortnite, no. No Man's Sky, yeah. I mean, Apex Legends has just made a very good impression, I think, on a lot of media outlets and things like that. So as much as I don't want them to win this, I'll go with Apex Legends.
And last year they took out that like big ad promo thing where they had like like live action Mirage or whatever, which I'm sure that would not influence the voting
Not
at all. No.
Yod, your choice.
The vaulting thing aside, I gotta go with Destiny 2.
That feels like a heart vote if I've ever heard one.
It is a bit, but it's mostly because of
Discord's being a little bitch again. Sorry about the pixelation there, viewers.
It's fuzzing out again.
Yeah.
But it's the because I'm still on the fence, and I'm probably gonna fall off the boat and answer that phone call that Virix keeps calling me about to come help him. But the story that I've seen of it's going in a very interesting direction.
I got my stasis powers. They are fun.
Right. The stasis powers are fun, and the story is going. It could have used a little backup to a build up to the story. Like they missed an excellent chance, like how they did Oryx, where they kind of indicated Oryx with Crota and stuff like that. Because the main fallen villain that you get here is definitely somebody that could have been mentioned previously.
A little bit.
Because of everything that happened.
Yep.
So they did drop the ball there.
Destiny 2.
But yes, I'm going to go Destiny 2.
All right. Jason has it all recorded. Jason, I would also like to make a mental note here, or an actual note here, that for the most part, chat was leaning towards Hades and Animal Crossing, Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy VII, and Call of Duty or Apex in that last one, just so we can make fun of chat when we're making fun of how badly we got these wrong.
We'll tell you what, when we post this on YouTube, go ahead and leave in the comments below what you think is going to win each of these categories. So go ahead and do that.
Take those 5 categories.
I'll try to watch it and record it. And
you can do it on YouTube, or you can come on over to ReadyCheckRadio.com and comment on the video there. Those 5 categories, give us your votes so we can make fun of you while we make fun of ourselves. And I do want to just plug here, by the way, on Games Radar, the Golden Joystick Awards, those are also up for voting. So if you want to go vote for, it's a totally different award ceremony, but if you want to go vote for them.
Actually, it says they're closed.
Did they close?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what the headline says, or the subhead.
Oh, never mind. Showtime's 24th. I'm sorry, my bad. I thought we had till next week. Okay. So see you on the 24th for the video game joystick awards. This one I do like. This is like a personal favorite of mine. I like the Hitman series, with the exception of the episodic release, which I think they learned their lesson and they're not going to do that anymore. But IO Interactive, the team that works on Hitman, is making a new James Bond game.
Really?
Yes. They're making a new James Bond game, showing the trailer now in the incoming data field for everybody. There's not a lot in the trailer. It's more a tease that they're working on it. There's not a lot of information on it, though. But I am a huge James Bond fan. I have the, Blu-ray Ultimate box set. Cried, shed a tear when Sean Connery passed away.
Of course.
A little bit. And it's by a developer that I like when they do the Hitman series. I am all on board on this. And here's the deal. The thing we do know is that they're telling a brand new James Bond origin story. So we're going back on this one, Jason. And I am just like 2 thumbs up interested. That's all we know on it right now. We don't know when or anymore, but hey, I am on board. Developer, IP I like, developer I like the concept that we're going to go back so we're not tied to anything any movie or game has done before. I'm on board.
Yeah, I am not nearly the James Bond fan that you are, apparently, because I watched my first full James Bond movie, I think 3 years ago.
What?
Wow.
I'd never seen a
dang.
full movie of it.
What one
until
was it?
just a little while ago.
Yeah, which one?
Skyfall.
You good one to pick. Good one to
Yeah,
pick.
and then I saw the recent one. The other one was it Casino Royale. Was that the other recent one?
Or if you're talking about the Daniel Craig
Spectre,
ones,
Spectre,
those are
Spectre. That was the most.
that was the most recent one. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that too. So yeah,
Wow.
not as big a fan of yours. Yeah, but
I thought Spectre was the most recent.
When
one.
we get, that's what he just said. Yeah.
that's what I meant. I saw Skyfall before that.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. For some reason, I heard Casino Royale.
Yeah, I mentioned that because I got it confused.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Then he said,
Okay.
and then he said, no, Spectre. Yeah, Spectre. Yeah, I mean, there are ones that are not as good as other ones. I will readily admit that, but I can sit there and like on Thanksgiving Day and like TNT or whatever in the United States, they do the James Bond marathons. I will sit there and I'll watch them all. I have them all on Blu-ray and I just sit there and watch them.
Yeah.
I don't care.
But they're on TV. You got to watch them when they're on TV.
Yeah. I mean, here we go. Let's do it. Some of it hasn't aged well. I'll give it that. You know,
Yeah.
the sexual aggression in some of the episodes, the not so great racial overtones in some of those.
Right.
You know, I mean, when they paint Sean Connery's face and everything to like make him Asian looking. Granted, he's trying to hide and look Asian. Like, it's not like they were trying to be racist, but that would definitely not happen in a movie these days. So yeah, some of them, I will admit, have not aged well, but I still love them all. I still love all those movies. I'm on board for this game. 2 thumbs up. Jason, maybe 1 thumb? Hitman, IO Interactive.
I should absolutely have played Hitman games because I love sneaky, stealthy assassination type stuff. I played the Tenchu series back on the old PlayStation.
Are you telling me you've never played a Hitman game now, too?
I've never played a Hitman game. I know. I should absolutely be into those. It's just not gotten on my radar. Mike is just looking at me. He's having a conniption over here.
He is.
I like stealthy and stuff
look,
like that, but I've never really seen a James Bond movie. I love stealth. I played Tenchu. How do you play Tenchu 1 and Tenchu 2 and then never play? Did you play Splinter Cell? Sam Fisher? No. Oh my God!
Siphon Filter. I played a little of that.
Okay.
And
All right.
I have played GoldenEye. Okay, way back in the old NES or Super, whatever it was.
The Metal Gear series.
Oh yeah, Metal Gear. I'm way into those. Yeah.
Okay.
Still need to play the last one.
So you've done a little bit of stuff. I don't know how you have not played Hitman.
I don't know how.
Like,
I
if you
either,
like
honestly,
stealth games, I don't know how you missed that one.
Every time I watch, I've seen streams of it or whatever, and I'm like, God, that looks good. But I just gotta, because it's like Hitman 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 collection anthology, and I'm like, where do I start?
Yod, are you interested in this at all?
I am. More so because of the Bond fandom than the Hitman. I started out with probably the least liked Bond, Dalton. I thought he got shafted on the scripts. He made a good Bond, though.
You know his advice to Pierce Brosnan, right? After Pierce Brosnan did GoldenEye, and they asked him to come back and do Tomorrow Never Dies, and he like reached out to Timothy Dalton and was talking to him, and Timothy Dalton's advice to Pierce Brosnan was, do 2. Do 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked Brosnan. Daniel Craig, I'm kind of iffy on. Roger Moore and Sean Connery were my dad's Bonds. I appreciate them. I enjoy the films to a certain extent, but like you said, some parts didn't age well.
Yeah. All right, so I'm the one that's the most hyped for this one, and then Yod's right behind me, and then Jason's like, let me know if it's good.
Yeah, that's about it. I'll get it when it's on sale, man.
Yeah, let me know if it's good. Dude, you got to play Hitman. You have to play Hitman. Like, it is so... Hitman cannot be anywhere near expensive anymore. Like, it just...
I'm sure there are versions of it, but again, it's...
Oh, no. Those are going to be the old ones, though. Yeah. Those... No. We need to get you a current one.
Hitman 2, those golden.
I'm sure it'll be a Steam sale here.
There's a free Hitman 2 starter pack with one first mission, whatever. Expansion pass. Oh, anything that has expansion pass. Fuck that.
Yeah,
Check the
yeah.
other
You do
Hitman
anyway.
franchise on
We
Steam.
got to get you a Hitman.
All right.
Anyway,
We got to get you a Hitman. Sounds like I have to bump it off. We gotta get
I
you a
should consider a rephrase on that
Hitman.
one.
Bother me. We got to get you a Hitman.
All right, I got a couple real quick things just to finish up today, and then we'll hit gaming, the game of the week. This I just thought I'd bring just to say, like, oh, no shit, huh? There is a study CNN reported this week that playing video games may improve your mental health and make you happier, according to research by the University of Oxford, who analyzed the effects of playing two popular video games, Nintendo's Animal Crossing New Horizons and Electronic Arts' Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville. They found that time spent playing the games was associated with players reporting that they felt happier. But the study was limited to just those two titles. Researchers did not explicitly conclude that increased play was what caused participants to experience mental health. Quote, our findings show video games aren't necessarily bad for your health. There are other psychological factors which have a significant effect on a person's well-being. In fact, play can be an activity that relates positively to people's mental health, and regulating video games could withhold those benefits from players. And I just thought I'd bring that here to say, no shit.
Well, let these people play a competitive shooter or a MOBA.
Yeah,
then see if it makes them happier.
I was gonna say, obviously the article did not include League of Legends players.
Yeah, no kidding. Or Hearthstone players right now.
Right?
Oh,
Some
God.
salt going on there.
Ugh.
Yeah, zoning out, having a little bit of fun and relaxing makes people happy. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
No way. No way. Mm-mm.
Shock. Here's another one. This is from the Spokesman Review in Spokane, Washington.
Established May 19th, 1883.
No, not the article, just the paper.
The
article's from November 19th, 2020.
I was playing Fortnite back in 1883.
Right. And this is
With
this
forks
is more
and
an
knives.
opinion piece, but I thought it was like, well, yeah, really, no shit. So the author talks about like playing a lot of multiplayer games, Call of Duties, Overwatches, stuff like that, and kind of saying, you know what, maybe the future of gaming is looking pretty bleak because everything is just now being funneled into paywalls, complaints, customers being manipulated across these different payment models. So as we get more games as a service, these microtransactions and things leak in, and the future maybe doesn't look so bright in the world of gaming. And I also thought I would just bring this here for us to say, no shit, really? We haven't been saying this for years now, right?
This is what happens when the mainstream press finally gets a hold of this sort of stuff, I mean, I don't know, maybe this guy's obviously a well-known, he's a avid gamer, certainly. I'm not saying he's like some random 47-year-old.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, he does
day,
talk about all and he's very multiplayer game centric and stuff like that.
But it's like what you were talking about earlier with Phantasy Star Online 2, and we were talking earlier. You're like, I'm just tired of having the daily, I got to get my missions done, or I'm going to fall behind, that sort of stuff. And yeah, I feel that way too. That's why I stopped playing Conqueror's Blade a few weeks back. That's why I'm trying to play some more single player games now, so I don't have that pressure feeling. Although I'm going to hate it when I try to get back into those games. I'm going to be like, oh no, I'm behind for months or whatever. So whatever, just break free. You don't have to keep playing it. You don't actually have to keep playing a game. It doesn't matter. You really don't. You can stop subbing to WoW. Really. Really.
But isn't that like a requirement for living? You got to sub to an MMO?
I feel like that was not for the benefit of the show. I feel like that statement might have been directed at somebody else in the room. All right. Now, I did bring two things as filler, but we don't need, in case we need an extra minute or two, we do not. So I'm just going to leave you with this, chat. You should Google game promotes colorectal screenings with cute anime girls. And I'm just going to leave that at that as we slide over and do our All the WTFs coming up in chat.
I see that.
I will
I
make
read
it.
that article and I was also very WTF, but I also thought it might have appealed to me because I could use some help there. Anyway,
Oh, what with the anime girls?
just the other part.
Oh,
Although
the other
that
part.
part's
the
not
other
bad.
part. All right. So I put the link in chat for people in chat. So if you're watching on YouTube or
Oh, my
listening on
God.
Spotify, you should have been here live. If not, you're going to have to Google what I told you to earlier. Yad, we're going to let
I
you
don't
go
wanna know what else
first.
you're gonna
Remember,
come up
this
with.
is the segment where we each give you a game of the week that we feel, hey, you know what? I've enjoyed this week. You guys and gals should check this out. And you let us know in the comments who won with their pick. Nobody commented on last week's episode. Not surprising. We're just getting these shows started. Low viewers. Tell all your friends. Get them all over here for crying out loud. Comment. Follow. Yad, you get to go first this week. What is your game of the week?
I am going to say Shadow Warrior 2.
Ooh.
So on Steam, I saw the preview for Shadow Warrior 3, and I went back and I remember Shadow Warrior 1. So I went and checked out Shadow Warrior 2. And it is actually a really good game. I mean, it's a game that started out as a Doom clone essentially, or Duke Nukem clone, something like that. It's a little bit racist, but a lot of fun and very gory.
A little bit
So, yeah.
racist. Definitely
Little
not
bit.
terms you normally hear written on the back of the box.
It is. I mean, it's called Shadow Warrior, and the main character's name is Lo Wang.
What's
So,
that? Action packed. Grab that. Graphics, slightly racist. It's
Yep.
just not normally
What was
written
that?
on the back.
What does that do to the E ESRB rating?
Right?
Right.
It's MA17 for gore and slightly racism.
Damina in chat voting for whoever picked Final Fantasy VII from last week.
Yay, I win then.
Jason wins. 1 vote to none to none.
All
All
right.
Uh,
Great.
right, Jason, your pick.
All right, so-
or wait, no. Go ahead, Yad. I'm sorry. Did you have some?
no, I was gonna say. So that's mine.
All right, Jason.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, if colorectal screening and anime girls will get you good Google results, then how about Joan of Arc K-pop star? Because my game of the week, of course, as you probably know, is going to be Blood of Steel, which is a free-to-play like medieval combat game, kind of like Conqueror's Blade, which I've talked about before. I played a lot of, a little less serious, a little more kind of out there with some of the skins you can get for characters. He plays like a famous general. Like could be Joan of Arc, could be Edward the First, could be Liu Bu or someone like that. And yeah, the skins are interesting. Some of them are. So
I like when you did the first look on MMO Bomb. Somebody commented on it that was like, "Well, I'm pretty sure everybody from France just unsubscribed from MMO Bomb, but looks like a good game."
yeah, my apologies. Apologies to anybody from France who's got a little nationalism for Joan of Arc. But yeah, it's a fun game. It's kind of shorter battles. Don't take it as seriously as you do something like Conqueror's Blade, but just go in and whack stuff around a little bit. And I'd like to note that my record in that game in battles, 14-1 so far.
You're a beast.
I don't know how.
All right,
but
I
I'm in
feel like I'm
fuego.
gonna lose again. I mean, anytime one of you recommends a free-to-play game, and the other one includes in their description, it's a little bit racist. I feel like I'm just doomed no matter what game I pick. So I'm going to go, and my game's going to further limit it based on the audience size right now. I'm going to go with Astro's Playroom on the PlayStation 5. World records and speedruns aside, I'm having a lot of fun with it, and I like the nostalgia of collecting the different Sony pieces of history and stuff like that. It comes on the damn system, and you know what? It's actually a very, very interesting and fun platformer. It's short, unfortunately. That's the biggest strike against it. There is some replayability there with the online speed runs and things like that, but not a ton. And if you're not into speed runs, then there is really no replayability once you've platinumed it and collected it all. But I enjoyed it far more than I thought I was going to. It took time away from Godfall because I was like, yeah, I'll do this while Godfall installs. And I ended up playing it for 6 or 8 hours. And there we go. So, yeah, Astro's Playroom on the PS5. So there's your choices. Gang, let us know in the comments who your video game awards nominees are in the 5 categories we picked. and who wins the Game of the Week recommendation out of the three of us. Chat, though, stay tuned. Right after this show, we'll be going live with Torchwick. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I can't complain. Nobody listens. What are we streaming today, my friend?
So today we're going to get a little bit farther in Final Fantasy 6 or 3 US. I don't know which one you would
So
have played.
where are you now? You've suplexed a train.
I have.
You have done the opera house scene.
Indeed.
So
I met Setzer. I may have promised an accent that I can't pull through, but we'll try.
That's because you're voicing every single character in your stream.
And every stream they change because I can never remember which ones they had before.
Who had what voices? Chat, hang tight after the show. We'll hang out for a minute or two, and then we'll switch over and go live to Torchwick. Torchwick, you have a lot of fun in Final Fantasy VI. You've got some interesting decisions coming up in the course of that game that I can't wait to see how you make them. Remember, everybody, no shows next week. We follow Twitch so that you can get the notifications for the different streams, most of which will still be going on. But Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, no show. We will see you the following Tuesday for Snowbound, Thursday for the Relic Grind, and then right back here on Saturday. What is that? December 5th, I think?
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah, December 5th. For the episode 3 of Gaming Gumbo. Until then, Yod, where can everybody find you, my friend?
Since you made me make a Twitter, Yod Artworks at Twitter, however that works, at Yod Artworks. Facebook, same name. Website, same name. You know, anywhere it says Yod Artworks.
And we promise that Yod does not look pixelated like this in real life.
I mean, I might. I don't look at my own face all that often. So.
What about you, Jason?
I hear you can get like a skin cream for that. If you're But anyway, find me on Twitter at Winter Informal, streaming at twitch.tv/JasonWinter.
Mike Byrne, you can follow me personally on Twitter right there at MagicMan1, but more importantly, follow at RC Radio, RAIDEO, and get all the notifications for all the episodes and streamers. Until next time, stay safe. See you on the